Next, Daniel Mailer. Daniel Mailer, Mehler. All right, we will note that Daniel is in support but didn't testify. David Nally.
He's not here. He's on his way.
James Clark. And we'll note that David Nally is for it. And if he gets here, we'll use chairman discretion. How about that? But we will note that at the present time, he's for it, and then he hasn't testified. But if he gets here, raise your hand. All right, James.
Thank you. Thank you for this is good to be here. Thank you for being here so late. I've been here all day myself. And, although I'm for this legislation, it needs to happen. It needs to happen now. And, although it's baby steps, that's what we're going on. This is baby steps.
Now, James, I've got to make sure we're clear on the record. You're for the bill, and
yes.
You're in your individual capacity.
In individual capacity, and I'm also the CEO of a corporation.
Okay.
That I'm representing that
All right,
corporation
now,
as well.
The reason I bring it up is the registration says you're against.
That was a mistake when I filled it out.
Okay, then we need to fix that.
That needs to be attended to, yes, sir.
All right, what we're going to do is we're going to take you out of order, but you're going to have to go. Can you take him in the back so they can fix the paper? Because on the iPad they have you against. We need to get you corrected.
Well, I was just getting warmed up. Now you want to go and send me out, really? I was just about to start my thing here. Okay. Can it be changed quicker, perhaps?
That's what we're checking on right here. We've got Mr. Technology.
So, good Lord. I was just about to get wound up. Okay.
Well, by the time we fix your deal, that red light would be
3
on
minutes is
there.
already over. All right, you can go. Okay.
Just a second, James. Let us
All right,
get you
I'll
fixed
wait
here.
for the green light.
When she gives you the green light, we'll start rolling.
Okay, thank you.
We have to make sure under the rules that all the records are correct. And so
Yes, and it was my mistake. And I've never appeared here before, and I wasn't quite aware on how to do it. I did the best I could. Made a mistake.
Okay, we got it fixed. All right, now let me make these statements into the record. At this time, we're calling James Clark to speak, and you are in favor of the bill, correct?
Correct.
And you have given authority to the committee to make the correction in the rules
Yes,
to
I
have. That you are in favor.
I'm in favor, and make the correction, please.
And you're speaking in your individual capacity.
Yes, and also in my corporation's capacity as well.
Because you're
Gotcha.
speaking on behalf of yourself and your company.
That's correct. You're exactly right. Okay. So, my understanding is that the penalty, you're just going to change the penalty a little bit. Okay, that's a baby step. No, it's in the right direction, I give you that. But it's not really where we're going to have to end up. But it's a start. Okay, I'll just go ahead and prepare. I've got a prepared statement, and you all have it in front of you now, by now. Okay, I'll just read off what my statement is, and then you can make out of it what you can. The truth hurts. In fact, all truth hurts, but truth can also set you free. What I'm about to proclaim and state is absolute fact, and are as follows. that this war on drugs began in the 1960s by various American presidents who are no longer alive this day and can't answer for themselves or defend themselves. Okay? The war on drugs started with a real war, sadly, the Vietnam War, where young men were drafted to go to war. Some fled the country, some claimed hardships, others jailed in order to not fight that war, while others did go to war. That war, in reality, was the hippie war. Young hippies were sent off to die in war, and the presidents of that time had no intention of winning that war. All they looked at was the body count, sadly, just ours. Now, for that reason alone, all marijuana laws need to be ended. The Vietnam War ended on April 30th, 1975. It was the beginning, it being the only war that this country ever admitted to losing. Or did we lose? Did we lose? Depends on how you look at it and what the objective was. And the objective was terrifying and was to kill off the hippies. Was that war legal? And or was it even justified? Did those presidents win that war? But some Americans had to pay the price. And 1975, the war on drugs should have ended as well, but did not. American veterans deserve better. American people deserve better. This HB81 the legislation man here must pass if there is any justice at all in America. And all marijuana laws need to be overturned forever in America. This is not opinion, it's truth. Also, the proven medical reasons for marijuana's use are countless. That's another reason why this war on marijuana should end right now. Because it's always been an illegal war on a harmless, beneficial plant. And I've got a little notation here. I would like y'all to look this up. This is a government notation. In 1977, this discovery by narcotics authorities that some marijuana imported from Mexico had been treated with paraquat as a control agent generated much interest in the media. And there's a notation of that's in 1978 and Haley in 1979. Up to 70% of the paraquat treated marijuana is converted on smoking to Benzodrine, a respiratory irritant. Frequent consumption of heavily contaminated marijuana may result in cyanosis and possible death. The use of paraquat for this purpose has been largely discontinued. Has it? I think not. The Vietnam War was over in 1970. The Vietnam War was over in 1975. There's a top. But the government wasn't done with killing the hippies. This war with our fellow Americans must end right now. Truth itself can't be debated. There is no debate here. End statement.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? We appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to bring David Nally up. Okay. David Nally is now here, so for the record, he had registered for the bill, and we're going to have you. It was noted that you were here, and then we noted that you were for and hadn't testified, but we're allowing you to testify because you came and you had registered.
Well, thank you very much for that.
So state your name, your capacity, and if you're for, against, or neutral on the bill.
My name is David Nall, and I'm the past national chairman of the Republican Liberty Caucus. We have a chapter here in Texas that's very active, and we know Representative Hutter. We favor this bill. We think it's a good start. I submitted our official statement for the record. I'm testifying on behalf of the organization, but also on behalf of myself. Since we're wrapping things up here, I know you've covered a lot of testimony. I just wanted to make a couple of points, and that'd be it. I think it's very important for us to consider the fiscal implications of this. The amount of money being wasted keeping nonviolent, non-dangerous offenders in prison just doesn't make any sense. We face a lot of fiscal constraints in the state. We try to keep our budget very lean, and wasting money keeping people locked up, which is quite expensive on a per capita basis, just doesn't make much sense in the bigger financial picture. Governor Perry, our last governor, not a current governor, of course, said that we should move towards decriminalization, and it doesn't make any sense to keep people who are locked up for marijuana. He's softened his position considerably on this issue, and I think if he were governor now, he would be fully supporting this bill at least. But he had other things to do, obviously. So I think that basically having 60 or 70,000 people in jail for possession or other nonviolent crimes doesn't make much sense for this for the state. And you're not just talking about the cost of keeping them incarcerated, but the long-term cost of fitting them back into society, long-term consequences for individuals losing their ability to be employed, losing their ability to be productive in society, which is more likely to put them back on drugs in the first place. That just doesn't make much sense when marijuana doesn't really lead to the kind of destructive behavior you see even with alcohol, and alcohol is legal. So it seems to me that it would be a good policy to pursue this limited approach to decriminalization of some low levels of marijuana. In the future, I hope there would be a more wide-scale reduction in marijuana. Sorry, I ran to get here. I'm a little out of breath. A larger scale reduction in our restrictions on marijuana and criminalization. But I know Texas isn't ready for that. Although, if you look at Republican voters in the ages of 18 to 29, we're talking about now they have a 67% support rate for full legalization. And that's among Republicans in the younger generation. That means that in the future, the demographics of this is going to change enormously. They've already changed to the point where around 65% of the general population supports legalization. I think you're going to see that become the standard. And I know the legislature isn't here to push social policy, but they should be aware of it. And I think they need to be prepared that, with measures like this, we can begin to sort of catch up a little bit on where the nation is going as a whole on these policies. Thank you for your time, and thank you very much.
David, thanks. Any questions? Thanks to you. It's good to see the group, and it's good being visiting with you. Thanks so much. And
I should mention I'm Republican precinct chair out here in Precinct 105.
There you
come
go.
out to Manor, eat some barbecue.
Thank you, David. So John's is wrong. Okay, is John Delaney here?
Here.
John, come up here, sir. We're going to have to. You and James must have tag teamed here. So now you're for the bill,
I am.
but you're registered against.
That's undoubtedly an electronic error.
Well, we want to get it fixed. So, for the record, you are testifying on behalf of whom?
Texans for Responsible Marijuana Policy and myself as an individual.
And you're for it.
I am, sir.
And so you're giving the committee full authority to correct, to show from against to for.
I am, sir.
You tell me when. You ready? All right, at this time, we show that you're for the bill. As you've stated, you've told us you're the authority and that you're speaking on your behalf in the group, so thank you. Go ahead, right ahead.
Yes, sir. I am a fifth-generation Texan. I have the sixth and seventh generations with me here in the back of the room. My daughter from San Marcos came up with her sons to be here tonight to see Grandpa talk. My grandsons say they want to see Grandpa write a law. So here I am working on that. I wanted to focus on a few things related to 81 that some others have not covered, and I don't want to duplicate their testimony. You have 4 pages of single-spaced work from me there that you can take a look at your leisure. I need you to know that I'm not an individual who is soft on crime. I've sent 4 people to death row. My mother was murdered in Houston by a guy on marijuana probation, as it turns out. I was a United States Navy officer during the Vietnam era. And today I work as what we call an assigned judge or a visiting judge, presiding over what we call a child protection court. I handle all of the child abuse and neglect cases arising out of my county, which is the county of Brazos, 100 miles east of here. The one thing that our child abuse and neglect cases all share is parents of poverty. That is the common denominator of every single case I hear, and I carry about 90 to 100 cases on my docket. And one wonders sometimes what causes people to be impoverished. One thing that causes them to be impoverished is the simple mechanical stumble in life of having your driver's license taken away from you. There was a study in New Jersey, and this is not in the paper, that found that the loss of a driver's license results in the loss of a job about 42% of the time and some period of time after that. A California legislator, again not in the paper, testified before the California Senate that the loss of a driver's license is the beginning of a spiral downward into poverty from which there is often no escape. I'm here tonight to tell you that I believe that 100%. And so, as you know now, the magic, the great benefit, one of the great benefits of this bill is that it does not take away people's driver's licenses, and it does it indirectly by declaring that 1 ounce and below is no longer a criminal conviction. And we have a law in our transportation code that says you lose your driver's license for 6 months if you have a criminal conviction. Something that hasn't been mentioned tonight is that according to the DPS statistics for calendar 2015, we had 61,748 arrests for marijuana possession during that calendar year. Those are the latest figures we have. We know from studies that about 90% of those arrests would be for this target weight, 1 ounce and below. So that comes to about 55,000 arrests that would be affected by Chairman Moody's bill.
So he had already.
Now, also not in the paper is what happens downstream from those arrests.
I have to ask you to summarize up because the red light's on.
Okay. After those arrests, there are 30,000 convictions, 15,000 deferred adjudications, and 19,000 dismissals. So every year, it turns out that we turn 30,000 people loose on the streets without a driver's license, with devastating consequences. And thank you for listening to me.
Any questions? Thank you very much, sir. Oh, do you? I couldn't see you down there.
Sir,
Representative,
Mr.
fire away.
Yes, sir. Sir, did you say 30,000 annually?
Yes, according to the Office of Court Administration, for
Thank you, sir.
misdemeanor marijuana. Those are convictions now as opposed to the arrests.
Any other questions? Thank you. All right, now, Daniel Mailer, you're here. All right, we'll note again, he was called and he's shown for but didn't testify. Robert Bland.
Howdy, I'm Robert